Today I have my bride, Dominicia and Flores. Welcome. You
Hello.
you are my first official guest on episode one.
Woohoo.
So and you didn't even make me do that. So to my credit, I think that's pretty good. I planned it out that way. So I know this is a new concept for you and for me as well, but I'm a little bit more comfortable talking in front of people and in front of cameras than you are, having
Yes.
been a pastor for a few years. So my first official question is, tell me a little bit about you and your journey here, as we've just literally just arrived at Lamp Ministries. Um, so your most recent experience before that was
Hope is life. Then
okay.
before that was BFO and then his house. And then
How long were
um
you? How long did you serve at his house?
5 years.
Okay,
5 good years.
so that was before you and I met.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about that journey.
His house. I loved it. It was beautiful. It was faithful. It was a growing experience.
I know it was really hard when I asked you to leave to come along with me at Calvary.
Yes, I didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
Because you're his child. Like you I grew under Pastor Juan, so
yeah.
it just wasn't I was
And,
his child.
and as over the years I've come to know Pastor Juan, I can understand your affinity for him. He's a great guy. He's a great pastor. He's very warm, and he's certainly led by the Spirit, and he is equipped to serve. What was their moniker? It was like reach, grow, release,
Raise, raise, reach, and release.
raise, reach, and release. I think that's a great system. Um, and I've always admired that about him, because one of the things that I've learned in ministry is that who you start with is not always who you stay with forever. People will
Correct.
move, and they have to follow their calling in the Lord. They have to be open to what the Lord's calling them to do, more than just kind of getting in a rhythm about things. So if
Hmm.
the Lord calls them to leave and He's prepared them to do so, it is their duty to be obedient to that word.
Yeah, he helps you grow in your faith, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And he helps you recognize your hidden talents or spiritual gifts.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that? Because that's a big part of what we try and teach here at Lamp Ministries.
Oh, spiritual gifts? Ooh, um, recognizing your spiritual gifts was something he helped us grow in, was understanding and realizing that we had gifts and then how do we put them to work. You take the test and then it's like, yeah, that's not me. But he's like, yes, that is you. This is what you do. This is how you use it. So start practicing in it. And his biggest thing was faith. Um, they still do it. They do a faith conference every year
You're doing
around
one
the
now, right?
yes,
Tonight was their last
last
night for the
night.
year,
Hmm.
which I got to give that address last year. So I was thankful for that opportunity, and got to make you blush a little bit when I told everybody about our story.
What is our story?
We're going to have to say that for another time, because this is about you and your journey, but it's a good one. Um, so as you went through the course, through his house that helps you discover your spiritual gifts, what were some of the things that you uncovered?
Oh, so you discover your top 10, and the first one was preaching, the second one was prophecy, and then there was hospitality, there was healing, discernment. I can't remember the other few. He sent it to me not too long ago, like 6 months ago. Um, and then he reminded me that, remember, you said you were going to be a preacher. And I'm like, I'm not a preacher. And I was like, that is not me. I had the gift of prophecy because I believed in it so much. I have prophecy. I have prophecy. I'm not a preacher. And he was like, "See, you are a preacher. You're a preacher's wife." I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so true." Like, God knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he
So,
sure did. Our story was certainly not a conventional one. And I think if you would have asked either one of us 4 months before we got married, we probably both would have not believed what God was about to do in our lives right before COVID hit. So
yeah,
that was a whole whirlwind in and of itself.
that's a huge testimony.
That is. And so, speaking of testimony, as you were explaining what you felt what that test uncovered about your spiritual gifts, in my humble opinion, I would agree with all of them except for hospitality. And it's not because you're not friendly or polite or welcoming or just beautiful in your presence. It's more that I don't know. I think you're just not as comfortable there as I
I'm
see
not.
you. I see you so much more comfortable in some of the other aspects of what you talked about. And in Genesis, when the Lord creates Eve for Adam for the purpose of creating the perfect helpmate, um, one way to read into that is that she would have all the gifts and talents that he didn't, and
Oh, that's interesting.
that was kind of the way I saw our relationship. There
Uh
was
huh.
so much that we did not have in common, and especially our hobbies. We just not into the same things, but our dedication, our service, and our belief in God, and our willingness to surrender to His will, uh, that was the foundation of our relationship. It still is the foundation of our relationship.
Correct.
But it was something that I saw in you because I was like, she's got a lot of the things that I'm not very well versed in. Speaking of prophecy and praying in tongues and just being very comfortable in your skin in that space, it took me significantly longer to get to that. And so um, I'm thankful for your time at his house, and I'm thankful that we've gotten to not only get to know Pastor Juan, I've gotten to get to know him, but even serve alongside him on occasion and be able to sow seed in what they're doing over there at his house. So,
Amen.
what has the Lord done in your life lately that has um, made you comfortably recognize that you're on the right path, and He is leading you, and He has work for you to do here?
Right now, I'm involved in children's ministry here, and then at Lamp Ministries, and then at um, the Good News Club, which happens at McGregor. Um, then I'm also doing taking a hospitality class. I'm doing the training over in Waxahachie for Lamp Ministries, so I can learn how to do hospitality.
You said you've been teaching children here at Lamp. How long you been doing that?
I think six forever. Probably a year now.
Yeah, that's probably about right because I think you were doing it before I came on to help the youth, which was a year ago.
Okay,
So
then it's
maybe
been
a little
over
bit
a
more.
year.
Yeah. Um, now, something you mentioned I think is a really cool thing that's going on here is the Good News Club. You want to talk a little bit about that and what the Lord's doing there?
The Good News Club is a Central Texas club that's a Christian organization that is all over Texas, but Central Texas has it right now, and we are allowed to go into McGregor School and teach the gospel of Jesus.
That blows my mind. Just the idea where you talk about uh, having the invitation to take Jesus into the public school system here in McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got to be honest, I'm not sure that I ever thought that I would see that day. It's such a blessing, and it warms my heart because I believe that is certainly part of the Great Commission. As we go into all corners of the world to reach the lost and make disciples, I think it's important that there's not a specific place where children spend 12 years where we're not allowed to go in there. They spend the majority of their time in school. And so to be able to bring Jesus into that, man, I just, that's what a blessing. What
It's
a
even
righteous
more
work.
beautiful, like when the kids ask you to pray for them, or their mom, or their dad, or their cat, or if they ask if they can have a Bible because they've never had one before. Is it okay if I take this Bible home because I don't have a Bible? So we're able to actually put their names in their Bible and send them home with a Bible.
Tell me a little bit more about what you feel the Lord is calling you to do here at Lamp Ministries.
I don't have a call yet.
Yet,
Yeah.
I think that's okay. You shouldn't feel ashamed or nervous to say that. I think you should say that with pride.
Yeah, I don't think I
You
have
know,
a calling. I don't think I'm called yet. I'm just kind of here and there, just like where the Lord needs me. I'm just a person to go here and there.
yeah, but you can't discount that. I mean, the church stands on people just like that, that are just ready to serve the Lord where they're needed. And that in and of itself is a calling. We used to call that the ministry of presence.
Mm,
You're just present for whatever the body needs at that time because we are prepared by the same spirit. And so in that preparation, the Lord has placed you on an on-call situation where a teacher doesn't show up. Okay, put Dom in there. uh, Somebody didn't show up for this job. Hey, let's call Dom, see if she can come help. Or somebody doesn't feel well. I really need to go home. I don't feel well. Call Dom. And you can't look past that because it's not an official role. I think people often, quite often, overlook the ministry of presence. Don't ever think less of that, knowing that you've probably sowed into more corners of this place than
mhm.
most, certainly more than I have. And so I admire that, and I don't ever want you to think that that's less than. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to ask me?
Do you enjoy doing what you're doing at this time?
Do I enjoy it? I would say absolutely. Um, I haven't even begun to do it yet.
Hmm.
But I already enjoy it. I enjoy the concept. You know how I am with people.
Yeah.
I love talking with people. I love getting to know people. I love getting to witness what the Lord is doing through people. And I believe that everyone that He's come into their heart by invitation, I believe they represent Him as well. And so by having an opportunity to do something like this, I'm getting to put the work of Jesus on display. I feel like it's a privilege to be able to show that to others who they may not know Christ the way we do because they don't have a living relationship with Him because they don't spend time in His Word and they don't necessarily spend time in prayer. But if they can witness and experience Christ in you,
Okay.
in your work, in the ministry of presence, to me, that's worth everything that we've done. Every bit of time, every bit of money that was put in to be able to put this out there. That people are living proof that Jesus saves.
That's
Jesus
good.
is real. We are His workmanship, and that's what I feel a part of my calling here is to do: is to remind a fallen world that Jesus is still in the business of changing lives and He's doing it every day, and you are proof of that. I'm thankful for that opportunity, and I'm thankful to be able to be here and do that here in McGregor and in this place. And I love this little office studio that we have. It's so cool. I think I've been talking about podcasting for over a year,
Yeah.
and just never had the right time, the right place, the right everything. But I think it was because that was all my time and my place, and it
It
wasn't
wasn't
the Lord's.
God's.
And this I recognize His handiwork. this is all his. And so I'm thankful to be able to be a part of that.
That's good.
Is there anything else you want to say? Anything coming up that you want to share?
No.
Any shout outs you want to give?
No.
You're good?
Hmm.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. You look beautiful as always.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking a half hour to sit with me and put this out there. At this point, this is all going to be for Nate and Becca. I want to be able to show them the vision, and this is the vision: is sitting down with somebody and getting to know Christ in them. And I'm privileged that you got to be the first one. So that's really cool. All right, man. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go home and go to bed.
I know that's right. It's past my bedtime.
Yeah.